Hi Peter. So we're currently on the bullet train heading to Tokyo from Kyoto. So this is my Kyoto Cultural Day of Reflection. I was really excited to have the opportunity to learn more about the culture in Japan and of Kyoto more specifically. So on our first stop we went to San Juan Sangendo, however you say that. And this was definitely the most breathtaking temple for me, just because they had over 1,000 hand-carved statues that were all very similar, but at the same time they were all very unique. And they also had statues of each of their gods, which was really interesting to see. And something else that was also really breathtaking was the monk that was singing in front of the large statue of the Buddha with like the incense there. He basically seemed like he didn't even notice that we were there while he was praying, and he was just really focused. So I enjoyed seeing the temple actually in use. And then we headed to a second temple, which had a really nice large orange torii gate at it. We learned about how the torii gates can be male and also female, which I thought was really interesting, and I had no idea that that was even a thing. So while we were in the second temple, we got to see a wedding, and that was really interesting because the bride and the bridesmaids and other people, parts of the bridal party, were all on the left-hand side, and it seemed like the groom was just over there on the right-hand side by himself, and the music was just so different from weddings in the Western world that it was just very fascinating for me. And then afterwards we headed to do some sake tasting, which I hadn't tried sake before, so I was really excited to do so. It's definitely not my favorite. I think I like other wines a lot better. But out of the 4 that we tried, I really liked the banana flavored sake. So that was exciting, just to, try something new, and then also get to talk to the brewmaster actually about, how sake is made and the heat that it takes and the long process, and how it's much better fresh, whereas grape wine is better when it's aged. So I found that to be an interesting difference. And then after that we headed over to the Golden Temple, which I had seen in photos before, so I was really looking forward to exploring that area. And it was a little bit rainy, but we didn't let that get us down, and we walked around, and our tour guide Naomi was really great and informative about all the people who had used the temple, the current uses of the temple, and the history of the temple itself, and also about the bonsai tree, which is 600 years old, which I found incredible, and the way that it was shaped as a ship going towards the pond in front of the temple was also really interesting. After that we headed to lunch, which was absolutely delicious. It's probably my favorite meal that I've had in Japan so far. I really like kind of cooking for yourself while also at the restaurant, just because I enjoy cooking in general, and it's nice to do it when it's not in your kitchen and it's not making a mess in your house, I guess. So I also really enjoyed the tempura. I've had it before, but I hadn't had it in Japan yet. Afterwards we did some shopping. Some observations that I made is that secondhand stores are a lot nicer here, and I was just surprised by that because it seemed like a boutique fancy Portland store that you would find on like Northwest 23rd, and it was actually like a secondhand shop, so things were extremely affordable there. And then when we went to the food market, I was surprised by just the sheer amount of tourists. I hadn't seen that many tourists, and even people behind us were talking about how they were from Portland. So it was just really interesting to finally come in contact with more people speaking English again, besides just the people in the e-scholars group. So I'm looking forward to exploring Tokyo again, and thank you for putting together the tour for us all to go on. I really appreciated the opportunity to learn more about the culture of Kyoto and Japan as a whole. So we'll see what Tokyo has in store for us. Bye, Peter.